Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. T Craft, Nick, thanks. Hi, Simone. Gonna give everyone just a few minutes to hop on. But while we wait, hopefully you were chilling with the little chill tunes, my Jill Scott radio. It's everything. I think while everyone is, you know, having some, getting coming to the chat, I'm going to tell a little known historical Courtney fact. So quiet as it's kept, but not so quiet as it's kept, because those who know me know that historically I am mortified when it comes to public speaking. So this is a lot. You can't get more public than live and in real time, and all that good stuff. Hi, Portia. Thanks for joining. Right. So it's crazy because in my career, I've been thrust in all kinds of situations where circumstances where I have to talk, speak publicly. I'm a trainer. I do a lot of training, and that is often I'm training groups of people that I know nothing about, that I don't know personally. And yeah, that is really unnerving. And so I will say this though, like I have a certain calm about myself this evening. It took a minute. Let me be very clear. It took a minute for me to get to this place, get my mind prepared and all the things. But knowing that I've gotten a lot of feedback, people who have given shout outs, and encouragement and said, about time, we'll be there. Looking forward to it, and you can do this, and all kinds of stuff. Like, I appreciate that. And just to know that for many of you, there is some association that I've had with you at different seasons of my life. It's kind of like right now, because I have a focus group. My tribe is my focus group. And, they give me all the encouragement and all that stuff. And they also tell me when, so not quite, let's try something else, And when I hear it from them, I know it's coming from a place of love and it's all good. And I kind of feel like I have a sense of calm this morning. Or see that right there? Yeah. So I have a sense of calm this evening, tonight, talking to all of you because, many of us go way back. Maybe I just met you yesterday. In either case, I appreciate it. And I'm thinking about all of that. So, I appreciate that you guys are bringing me a sense of calm. Now, also to be clear, even though I'm talking a good game right now, the nerves are still there. So bear with in advance. Any flubs? This is my first time. Y'all bear with. Yeah. So let me ask a question. It is what it is. Life lessons. It is what it is. Y'all, can anyone think of anyone in the history of the dawn of lifetime, space, that you may have known someone and they give you this hardcore, listen, it is what it is. I said what I said, period. Like, do you know anyone like that? Have you ever been that person? So, I was watching something. This is kind of how this all came about. I'm sure that some of you may be like, Courtney, Now what now? What's all this? What's she talking about tonight? Um, I was watching a show, little Ratchet TV. I partake, judge or not. But I was watching a little Ratchet TV, and the traditional, I think it's in the handbook of Ratchet TV, you have to be at a gathering and then a fight or an argument or something ensues. So they were following the script, and there were a couple of friends. They were at Taco Tuesday, and a couple of friends stood out. Sorry, y'all. I feel like my glasses are crooked. Yeah. So, is everything okay? All right. I digress. So yeah, so a couple of friends, there were some words said at the Taco Tuesday, and this scene takes place where they met one-on-one at someone's house, and they just wanted to, have a talk. Friend A and friend B, they wanted to talk a little bit about, she wanted to express how she felt some type of way. She left the party early. So friend A, she begins to talk about, yesterday at Taco Tuesday, I really didn't appreciate A, B, and C, and you just kept pressing the issue, and I didn't want to talk about it publicly. I wanted it to just be you and I, and just kept pressing, and it was kind of rude, and it made me uncomfortable, and it was hurtful, and I didn't appreciate it. And friend B was kind of given a So friend A, I'm guessing that she wasn't her acknowledgement, friend B's acknowledgement wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. And she sort of started getting amped. She was, she was doing all of this and raising her voice. I would imagine her blood pressure was coming up, elevated a bit. She was talking to friend B, and friend B, was like, okay, getting a little aggressive. You don't have to do that. I'm right here. You don't have to yell. I'm not your child, which that comment took it completely further left, but not the point. So, after a bit of back and forth and nobody listening to anyone, no messages being received anywhere, friend A said, well, I'm not raising my voice. This is just how I am. This is just what it is. I'm just trying to tell you what it is. I need for you to understand, because this is what it is, and this is how I feel. And that just sort of gave me a little pause. It was giving a whole lot of it is what it is, period. And so no. How many times, have you ever been on the receiving end of and it is what it is statement? What's that like? I think for some match energy and they give it right back. For others, they may just, walk away because why? Exhaust this energy. This is not productive. I'm not hearing you. I don't appreciate how you're speaking to me. This person the message is not, it's just a lot of pointlessness, right? Waste, exhaustion. So it caused me in that pausement, it caused me to, sort of reflect back. And this is the life lessons of it all. It caused me to sort of think about, it caused me to think a little bit. I see y'all, you're guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of being on both sides. There, I said it. But in the life lessons of it all, right? It took me back to a place of a few years ago when I was with a coworker, and several years ago I was with a coworker, and we had this situation. Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. Hi, mommy. So we had, and just to give a bit of context, this particular coworker, she was kind of known for not the most approachable disposition, right? And so, yeah, that's just generally how she was known. And I can recall times when I was, sitting, minding my own business, and I would overhear her, talking to people. And I remember cringing wow, that was harsh and uncalled for. But you know, I didn't have any, I mean, it didn't affect me personally. We never had any problems until we did have a problem. So on this day that we had a problem, we had a project. It was a group project. Everybody was working on this group project, and some of our tasks kind of overlapped in order to accomplish the common goal. And we I remember walking up to her and asking her, hey, do you happen to have, I mean, I don't remember exactly how I said, hey, but, I said, hey, do you happen to have, that part that I need to go ahead and get started on this. And y'all, it was like, I don't even know what happened. She was a different person. And just in that second, I don't know what I said, how I said it, what have you, but she kind of like bit my head off. And, she first gave me this deep exhale, like, why are you even here right now? And I don't have time for this. And then she went into all the things, ranting and talking about all the things. And what she was saying, y'all, I was taken aback. I remember feeling, wow, like, where is this coming from? We just joked 5 minutes ago. We just shared a joke. I don't understand. It was, I don't know what's happening right now. And needless to say, Mrs. Obama would not have been proud with my level of highness. Now, to be fair, I did not go as low as her, but I definitely didn't go as high as Mrs. Obama probably would have preferred me to go. That life lessons. Okay. And so anywho, we had this conversation. It was kind of going back and forth, and words were said. And then it was time for me, I was just going to disconnect because generally speaking, those who know me, I'm just not an impulsive person. I'm not a inherently clap back specific. That's not my go-to. I'm we're not going to do circles. I'm not, we can talk about it when you're ready to talk. I see that you're not ready. So that's me. But yeah, so I disconnected. I said what I needed to say. Everybody was saying all kinds of things. And that was that. I remember going home feeling just as heavy. I felt like that situation had taken me far, far, far out of character. I'd never had an experience like that ever at work. I began wondering, full transparency, what does this make me look like? My integrity. I'm at work, and nobody else was around. It was just us. It was kind of after hours. We were just all work. Everybody had gone. It was just us. But still, I try to model what I would like. Treat others as I would. Like to be treated. So I try to remember that whenever possible. Life lessons. But anyway, I went home, washed the day away, got up. It was business as usual. We have this great banter at the office. Sometimes in life, you just have to find stuff to laugh at because even today, today is just, there's a lot you can cry over. Just if you can find one thing to smile about, you got to grab that and hold on to it. Right. So anyway, the next day had happened. Good morning, banter, regular good mornings with everyone, including her. For me, this is a new day. So, I didn't have this face. I wasn't giving face, resting face and all of it. No, that why? But I was in my office working on the project. And so toward the end of the day, she'd come and knocked on the door. And I'm thinking, for the most part, I'd washed the day away, right? Yesterday. But when I saw her, it's like it all came flooding back. And I didn't want to be bothered. Like, I didn't want to I wasn't ready. I didn't think I was ready. But she was ready. And so I felt, okay, she wanted to come in and explain herself and, apologize and stuff. And so I said, sure, come on in. We had to sit down and it was amicable. She went on to explain that she had indeed had a rough morning and or a rough day. And, there were just things on her mind. And, um, it wasn't her intention to take it that far left or what have you. But when things got, wherever the conversation was going, she just sort of blacked out and she said stuff. And I was explaining as she was talking, not as she was talking. We were taking turns. Like I said, it was pretty amicable. But I was explaining to her, like, I wasn't prepared for that. Was it something I did? And she said, no, not entirely. I mean, there was something going on before you came, and you just, that's just what it was when you met, when you stepped up to me or when you approached to ask the question. And so anyway, after that, she said her piece. I said, listen, I appreciate that this was probably difficult for you to say, and I appreciate your apology and everything, and you explaining what happened. I really only have a couple of things to say. One, I've never disrespected you, dismissed you. I've never spoken to you in an undermining or demeaning way. I've never, ever raised my voice at you, or I've never, I kind of feel like you would have done the same thing if there were people around, like you were in a place. And, I definitely didn't appreciate that. And, nextly, my concern, I love this song. I'm sorry, I digress. So my concern is not really what you do with other people, because you said a couple of times, this is just how I am. And people who know me, it just is what it is. When I get upset, I just go there. I just say what I need to say. I just keep it real. So I'm not concerned with how you talk to the rest of the world. I'm not concerned with how the rest of the world allows you to speak to them all kinds of ways. When it's you and I, we're not going to do that. You and I moving forward, that will never happen again. Moving forward, if you have a concern, come to me. If there was something that I could have helped with, if you needed another day, whatever it was, let's talk about it. But that can't ever happen again. I have never spoken to you. I will continue to treat you with courtesy and respect. And that is what I expect in this work relationship. And, and if there was something that I said that offended you or, what have you, then I apologize. But that really wasn't fair, and it's cool, clean slate. That's fine. So we said our apologies in order to wrap it up, because everything had been said. And I felt pretty good about it. I felt pretty good about it, as well as could be expected. And I don't know. I just think about how it, even after, the apology, it just kind of had some lackluster. Have you ever had an apology where, it just left you feeling like they didn't mean that? I mean, I see your mouth moving, I hear the words, but you didn't mean that apology. And not just that they just didn't mean it, but generally an apology has atonement afterwards. You're going to stop. You're going to start not doing it anymore, but that doesn't happen either, And so I think that might be the next thing I talk about. That might be the next topic. What does a genuine apology look like? I don't know. Thoughts? Okay. Hi, Juan. I definitely, I think that's what I'll talk about next time. But, I think in summation, some of the things that I've learned about communication, and as I reflect back to that moment, maybe I approached her. I mean, she said she had some things going on, and I wasn't really thinking about that. You don't. When you're at work, you're everybody's business as usual. You have things going on and you have to communicate with your coworker, and you go and you ask the questions and get the information and go on about your business. But it's important, to be mindful of others and that they may have things going on, right? That said, if you have something going on, it's important for you to understand that in a place of business, it's important to just be mindful that there's a healthy balance with carrying it into your place of business and having to carry it while you're interacting with other people, and how to be aware of the vibes you're giving. Are you still approachable? Can people come and ask you the simple question in order to, do work stuff, So just some thoughts. Yeah. Has anyone ever worked with someone that's been difficult to talk to, or they weren't really approachable or anything like that? I don't know. It happens. So in either case, I think what I would like to do now is I would like to ask, if you all have a topic. I'm just thinking about this and future topics. I definitely would love for you to leave any topics that you think might be interesting, conversational pieces. Leave that in the chat for me. I want to hear what the people want to talk about. I have some topics that I'll be bringing up randomly, but not. See what I did there. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys also want to talk about. I really appreciate this outlet, and hopefully someone found it entertaining or something. And yeah, I think so. I think I'll also maybe have someone come on as a guest. We can just chat it up and then talk to the people out into the world. I think I'd like to do that too. If you're interested in being a guest, being on, you have a topic and you want to either or, just let me know. I'm open. I like this. I like it here. I think also part of the ultimate life lesson and what I'm here to even discuss today is, it is what it is, but being real does not give you license to be reckless. Like, you don't get to just talk to people any kind of way because you are under the guise of keeping it 100. No, that's not how that works. Who's going to want to sit and listen to you just talk to them all kinds of ways or treat them any kind of way? And why? If you want someone to receive your message, find a way to say it that they'll best receive it. Delivery matters. It's just that simple. Being real does not give you license to be reckless under the guise of it is what it is. And that is. I think that's about it. If there is anything else, I think maybe we'll cover that next time. I really want to thank everybody again. I'm going to close it out. Yeah, I'm going to close it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I have some other things I will be embarking on. Hopefully you all will join me on that journey and stay tuned as I embark. And yeah, I think it'll definitely be something of interest for everybody. Oh, thanks, T-Craft. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Have an amazing next week. Pray for the Gulf Coast. They are, a whole hurricane is happening. Hey, Dosh. Yes, food for thought. You're welcome. Mm. But anywho, I'm sorry. I went to Crustacean. There's this restaurant called Crustacean in Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all need to. I digress. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate you hopping on with me tonight. And yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let everyone go on with the rest of their evening, and we'll chat soon. Bye.